Okay, first things first, come over here. Is you set your oven to 525. Now, some people's ovens aren't calibrated, so you want to figure out 525 is really 525. If not, maybe I'll shut it on 550. It's very important. Steel, not stone. Stone's for custies. We're not even going to talk about stone. But this is steel. It's A36. It's kitchen grade steel. I got one down at the Wasatch Steel. Any fabricator will have it. You want it at least 3/8 inch thick, not a quarter. A quarter's not going to do you any favors. You want to put it on the second from the top. You don't want to put it on the very top. Your pizza will burn. Second from the top. You put it down here, your pizza's in no man's land. You're fucked. Once I throw my pizza in, I switch it from bake 525 to high broil to get a nice little black marks on the top. You want to have your steel heat up for at least 45 minutes. If you wait and your oven gets to 525 and you throw in your pizza, you're going to look at the bottom of your pizza. You're not going to get it like that. You're not going to get it brown with black spots. It's going to be white and it's going to taste like shit. Once it's fully preheated, you got to wait another hour. First thing you do when you're making a pizza is you take your dough out. Here's the dough I make. I put it in these round containers because you want a round pizza, right? First thing I do is I take this off, and you got to see this extra water on top, condensation. I wipe it off. You don't want that to come back onto the dough as it warms up. I can get into how to make dough at a different time, but basically, you want to do a cold ferment on your dough. That's what New Haven does. You don't really want to do it for any less than 24 hours. I toss it out, I keep it on the counter, I let it warm for at least an hour and a half or 2 hours before I try to open it up. You try to open it up, you try to move it. Before then, it's too cold, the dough rips, you tear it, you're fucked. Then you're gonna have to make a calzone. Then the next thing you do is you shred your cheese. You want to have. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the calzone.
So yeah, you want to shred your cheese about an hour before. If you got 2 hours, that's even better. You keep it out on the counter. You want it to dry out a little. You don't want to use fresh mozz. It's too wet. Just old milk mozzarella. It's hard to get the good stuff. It's hard to find like the really good cheeses to buy. The best thing that I can find as a consumer that anybody can buy at any store is your boar's head. Straight boar's head mozz. You just have them cut off a chunk. Don't have them cut it into slices at the deli counter. You gotta make sure, because then they'll go cut into slices, and that's a whole different story.
And if you send your significant other to go get the cheese for you, make sure that you tell them not to get it sliced either.
Holy crap. That's a fucking huge pizza. So the key with the cheese, I didn't know we were filming this, is to have speckles on your hand after. If you don't have speckles on your hand, you either over cheesed or you're under sauced. Very light on the toppings. You don't want it too much. You never want it too much with a pizza. This is going to be a spicy pequeño pizza with certain things. You like to put a parsley on just a little bit. You know, you do what you feel in the kitchen. I like to make one important adjustment before I get ready to throw into the deck. I like to put my broil on high. I like to get my dirty pizza rag out, which wipes the side. Last thing you want to do is have more flour than you need in there. And then I do a shimmy. You know about the shimmy. And if you don't have enough of the shimmy, then you have to do a certain things. And that is a pizza.
You're not gonna do the blow?
It doesn't need the blow. The blow, you don't just do a blow for show. Get it to the end. I let too much air out. I had it open too long. I don't like being filmed during this part of the process. So I've already done one turn about 2.5 minutes in. This is a 4-minute and 40-second bake time, maybe 5 minutes, depending on where the oven is. The broil is on high. When I do the turn for 2 reasons. I get a lot of the existing flour off the bottom of the dough, and then I wipe it off into here, because the more flour on the bottom of your dough, it tastes, fucks with the flavor. So I do another spin here towards the end, just a little half turn. Again, I'm taking this out, I'm wiping the flour off. The more flour I can get off that dough, the better. And you'll see here shortly, I do another technique to get the flour off. When I take the pizza out, I put it on this and I shimmy it around. I know you think this is a fucking joke. This is a real shit right here. I'm telling you, no modern pizza restaurants, they don't do this. They don't have time to do this. They don't care enough to do it. You gotta get that shit off the bottom. And that's what a perfection pie looks like. This has had a little too much flour on it, so I do this. I take it off, and I shimmy it on this. I want to get that extra flour off. I had a little too much flour on my peel. I don't like that. Another thing you can tell you got a good pie is when you got oil, and then the sauce comes up through the cheese. See that sauce coming up through the cheese, and it creates this color. So I do this shimmy here, but I don't want to shimmy it too long because I like it to be crisp on the bottom. But not only do I like it to be crisp on the bottom, but I like it to then heat up on the actual pan itself before I cut it. There's 2 reasons for that. It continues the bake process, and it allows the dough and the sauce to really mix together. And you'll see when I cut into this and make a bite, you'll see these internal nooks and crannies, almost like a Thomas English muffin. Let's look at the bottom. That's what you're looking for in the bottom. Browning, but also light charcoal marks, pock marks. That's what you want. I take it a step further with this. I throw a paper towel under here like this, and I turn the pizza. Turn the pizza. Turn it around underneath the pizza like this. See how much flour comes off on that last bit? See all that? That's burnt flour that you would be eating. Look at that. You don't want to eat that shit. You fucking kidding me? Ruins the pizza. Now that it has time to heat it up on the pan a little bit, I'm wiping this. This was a mess of a pie. Let me just go out and say that right off the bat. I had too much flour on the peel, so I'm doing another one of these again. Another wipe off. Another shimmy. Otherwise, I mean, it's going to taste great. The other thing that I don't think I mentioned is extra sauce around the side. That way when you get to your crust bites, you have a little extra fucking sauce there. Most people won't do that. Would it kill you to put a little extra sauce? This is why you can't get a good slice in America. Nobody cares this much. So this is going to have flop because it's a New York style pizza. And I like to have about 1 inch or 2 inches of flop. So when I go pull this off, Look at that. That's about 2 inches of flop right there. That's extra flop. If you go like this, you're only going to get about 1 inch of flop. But that's what you're looking for right there. You're getting browning, you're getting pock marks. Then let's come in and take a close-up on this, this crust. If your crust is not looking this doughy and airy in the inside, with that rebound, look at that rebound. It's crunchy, but it also is moist. That's what the pan does. And then we're going to take a bite. It's good. This can of tomatoes was a little off today. All right, we're going to talk about sauce for just a second. I used to use Cento. There's all sorts of boutique brands you can go to. This is what I've been using, diced. No salt added, no basil added. You take this, you add a little bit of oregano, you add a little bit of salt, a little bit of garlic powder. No fresh garlic, you need garlic powder. You never cook a pizza sauce. You blend it in the blender for a minute on low. You want a little bit of crush to it still. You don't want to get it like super thin, super whipped together. But listen, I opened up a can of these this morning and they weren't that great. I had to add a little sugar to them. But you know what? I don't make the fruit. God makes the fruit. You got a problem with the fruit? You go to God. I usually almost never sugar tomatoes. This can was a little off though, I tell you. Turn it up. Hey, pizza guy.